UFC 300s this week. I'm excited. I get to produce a ton of good content. It's the card of a decade. Absolutely bangers of fights, top to bottom, except for Holm versus Kayla Harrison. I really don't give a fuck about what happens in that fight. But regardless, guess who stole the headlines, though? Not anyone in UFC 300. No. No, 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 no. It is the man of God, the GOAT, the best MMA fighter of all time. I'll give it to you. Talent. He's the most talented. He has an insane resume. But he's a cheat. He's a fucking cheat. And what happened this weekend is a drug tester went to his house and he threatened them. He threatened them. And then he tried to make the fans look stupid by posting a video and saying, look at how cordially they left my house. Jon Jones is a guy that has been charged with beating his wife on multiple occasions. An MMA fighter, the scariest man on the planet. Beating his wife on multiple occasions. Being involved in a hit and run with a pregnant lady and fleeing the scene. Popping for PEDs multiple times. Went on the record himself saying he uses cocaine and all these drugs and he parties like crazy. So this dude says that, oh, all is good. They cordially left the house after this altercation that happened. And we're going to break down MMA Guru's video because Guru fucking cooked this man. I agree with everything that he said, and I'm going to break down parts in the video. But Jon Jones is trying to make everyone look stupid here and saying, oh, they left the house. I'm good. They left the house all happy. This is all fake. This is all bullshit. Is it, though? Or could it be possible that when two agents got pressed and threatened with their life, kind of, that they tried to calm down the situation? That they tried to dial it in and realize, shit, I'm in genuine fear of my life here. Let's dial it back and not continue to rile up the most dangerous man on the planet that has a history of hitting women, doing drugs, getting incredibly violent, and is obviously the most dangerous man on the planet, not named Tom Aspinall. I mean, I don't want to get to it any further. You're all calling him the GOAT. Here, there's a number of reasons why I won't call him the GOAT. Guru's going to break down better than me on why, and we're going to get to that video right now. So we're going to start right off the bat with the first 2 minutes of this video, and I'm going to hit pause and kind of break things down for you a little bit here, but shout out to the MMA Guru. Go follow his channel. He is by far the best content creator. He is the reason why I started doing this. I love his content. I love the way he says it as it is. I love the way he reports as a fan. And in this video, he's a pissed off fan. I'm a fucking pissed off fan. You should all be pissed off fans. He is taking a dump on our sport. 10 years later, people are going to look back and say, your GOAT was a drug-heavy, PED-using cheat that beat women.
Well. Jon Bones Jones has found himself in trouble yet again. The first man in UFC history to have pulsing picograms of a banned substance in his system. The first man in UFC history to have an entire event moved from one commission to another because the...
Before he finishes here, do you know which commission moved it? I'll spoil the beans. Spill the beans. I'll spoil it for you. Spill the beans at the same time. This is how flustered and upset I am. I can't even get my words together. But it was the Nevada State Athletic Commission. The athletic commission that has hosted the most fights. It's the fight capital of the world. Not new to Jon Jones. Not new to any UFC or MMA fighter. It was the Nevada State Athletic Commission that said Jon Jones is too roided up. We cannot put him in the octagon where he can possibly kill a fucking man. He is too roided up. It is cheating for him to go in there. We are not sanctioning the fight. This is the one card in MMA history that was moved. It was the one that was moved because of something like this. Now, fights have been shifted around. Not one whole card was canceled and moved. And it was because Jon Jones. And the UFC's protecting him, letting him fight Stipe, old man Stipe, for a legacy fight, instead of Tom Aspinall, who's the interim champ, who I know would beat the piss and shit out of Jon Jones when they step in the octagon. Jon's not going to fight him. Jon's going to duck him because he knows his legacy's over the second he steps in there with Tom. But the UFC's going to protect that. This dude right here, this criminal scumbag, this PED-using cheat, they're going to defend him and save him from Aspinall? The Nevada State Athletic Commission canceled an event. The UFC had to cancel an event because the Nevada State Athletic Commission wouldn't sanction it. That's not the Nevada State Athletic Commission being soy. That's them saying Jon Jones has too much roids. We don't feel comfortable putting him in a cage against anyone. They're cage fighting and they're saying this.
Commission at the original location considered him a PED cheat and would not let the fight go through. This is for the Gustafsson rematch. The first man in UFC history to fight another man in the cage whilst having the testosterone levels of a chemically castrated male, which 100% indicates that something must have been replacing his testosterone. The first man.
Wonder what it was.
In UFC history to have accusations from multiple parties, from multiple sources, that he hid under the cage from USADA when they came to collect samples for him to...
What would he be doing that for? Would he piss dirty?
Test him for performance enhancing drugs that he then went on to admit doing himself, hiding under the octagon from USADA, has now become the first man under this new testing agency that the UFC has to get into a bit of an altercation with them. Really interesting stuff here. I'm going to try and be unbiased here. I've put forward some information for you guys, which I think really does need to be considered. Maybe. I might be going crazy, though. Maybe I'm going crazy.
You're not. Everyone should be this pissed. I'm this pissed. Guru deserves to be this pissed. Everyone that watches the sport deserves to be this pissed because it just happens time and time again.
But I think that information does need to be considered. Because it just so happens that that man that I just listed all those things about, the first to do this, the first to do that, multiple failed PED tests before as well, a history of failed PED tests. It turns out that that guy's also the GOAT by far, and he's also the guy that can out-hustle Alexander Gustafsson in their first fight in rounds 4 and 5, whilst not training for the fight.
Wonder how he did that. I wonder how he did that. But everyone uses steroids. It doesn't matter that Jon Jones does it. Everybody juices. Why haven't they all been caught? Let alone, not multiple times, let alone one time. Let alone one time. We can also talk about Jon Jones' mysterious 3 years off where he was bulking to heavyweight, but then came back and looked like a fat old man. That was his bulk to heavyweight, walking in the octagon, a fat old man? Or could he have been serving a USADA suspension for taking drugs in his Dominic Reyes fight? I'm no investigator. I don't have the facts of that. But my hunch is telling me that if he went to bulk up, he'd be in better shape than having titties and a belly in the octagon, bulking up to heavyweight coming from 205. If he was taking 3 years off to do it, he would look sculpted, right? You'd think he'd look like Aspinall or Gone. No. No, he looked like a fat old man. So my hunch is he was serving a USADA suspension for 2 years. Just a hunch, though. We're going to move on to 5:57, 56 here, where Guru continues to cook. By the way, as I said earlier, check out the MMA Guru content. It is the best on YouTube. Go ahead, Guru, do your thing.
The drug testing agent named Crystal Martinez claims in her police report that Jon Jones got into her face and said, "Why you effing people come so early? Do you know what happens to people who come to my house? They end up dead." Of course.
That's a threat. That is a threat. Now, mind you, he wasn't actually threatening to kill them, but he was letting them know that at any point, if someone broke into his house or if someone that he didn't know was in his house, he might accidentally kill them just out of self-defense. So when the video comes out of Jon Jones cordially escorting these people off the premises, saying it's all good, we made up, it's all good. Was it really all good? Does that mean that he didn't do any of this? Because people on Instagram are saying, oh, that means he's completely innocent because of the video. Is it possible? Mind you, I could be way off base here, but is it possible that two people scared for their life because they're in the house of the most dangerous man on the planet who's probably hammered and coked up at the same time at 4 p.m. Early, by the way, comes really early, 4 p.m. Is it possible they tried to just dial the situation down out of fear of their own life? Of the man that basically just threatened them?
Of course, he also tried to grab for her phone. Maybe she was trying to call someone or record him while drunk. Who knows? The testing agent visited his home at 4 p.m. So not too early. But that's the quote that came out.
That's the quote. We're going to skip again here to 14:13. And this is not anything of crazy substance, but this guru makes an excellent point here. Just listen in. Maybe don't listen to the ads. By the way, GoDaddy used to be the most misleading advertisement.
I have an idea for a meal prep.
Yet again, only Jon Jones.
Again.
Not Brendan Allen. Not Chris Curtis. Not Sean Strickland. Not Alejandro Pantoja. Not Trevor Peake. Never Trevor Peake. He's a man of the Lord.
Real man.
Which Jones claims to be.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Not anyone but Jon Jones. Every time, all the time, whenever there's a bit of drug testing controversy, only Jon Jones. All of the things I listed to you, he's the first to do all of those. He's now the first to have a problem with this new drug testing agency.
The only one. The only one. He goes on to list a bunch of guys, not Sean O'Malley, not Alex Volkanovski, and he lists just more and more fighters that have not had an issue with this apparently more lax drug testing agency. Again, no idea if that's true or not. But Jon Jones had a problem with them. Of course he did. He's a cheat. He is a fucking cheat. And this is the same dude that the UFC is going to protect at all costs against Tom Aspinall. Tom would put his fucking lights out, and I want everyone to know that. And my final point to make here, go ahead and litter the comments. Tell me it doesn't matter. He's the GOAT anyway. Sure, he is the most talented fighter, and he has looked the most impressive in the octagon that I've ever seen. Imagine if all the other fighters were on the levels of testosterone that Jon's on, and maybe they are. Just maybe they are. But you can't say that with a fact. You can't factually say that. They have never popped and tested positive. Jon Jones has. More than once. In title fights. Juice to the gills for Anthony Smith, Daniel Cormier, Gustafsson 2. Was going to be Gustafsson 1 if they didn't move the event, which, right, we're going to pretend like after a month later, they're not going to still have, he's not still taking steroids. Like, they didn't just find a way to combat it. No, we're going to pretend. That's not my GOAT. He's not my greatest of all time. I don't even want to talk about him anymore. I don't want him to be regarded in the sport as a great. It should be embarrassing as MMA fans that this is the guy that represents our sport. This guy right here, this rat scumbag who beats his wife, has hit a pregnant woman with his car and fled the scene. And again, it was car to car. He didn't hit her out of the car. Has cheated on multiple occasions to win titles. This is the guy that we're going to all call the GOAT, and we're just going to stand behind it and say it doesn't matter about anything he did, he's the GOAT. Give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break. I'm not even going to ask you to like and subscribe. I'm super mad, but if you enjoyed it, please do. We should all be insulted as fans.